Hallo, ich bin's, Henning von Voss Spezial-Rad, dem Brompton-Experten seit über 30 Jahren. Und hier bin ich auf der Eurobike. Erster Tag, erste Stunde. Und wir sind natürlich gleich zu Brompton gegangen, um zu sehen, was es hier Neues gibt für 2025. Erst einmal ist es wirklich schön zu sehen, Johann kommt mal mit, wie sich so ein Stand entwickelt. Alles freundliche Farben, wirklich schöne Bereiche hier. Das sieht schon alles sehr schön aus. Und Johann folgt mir jetzt mal zur Wand, wo die Brompton stehen. Vielleicht vorab schon mal gleich eine kleine Anekdote hier vom Messestand. Hier haben wir tatsächlich eine sehr ausgewählte Edition, und zwar das Olympic-Modell, was ich glaube in einer sehr, sehr limitierten Version kommt. Also wer eins haben möchte, sagt mir das jetzt schon. Und was es kostet, weiß ich tatsächlich nicht. Aber derjenige muss es dann nehmen. So sieht es aus. Und was jetzt Brompton heute Morgen hier aus dem Karton gezogen hat, so sagte Brompton mir zumindest, sieht jetzt so aus. Und jeder hier auf dem Stand fragt sich gerade, was denn das für ein Modell sei. Also in einer Firma sind viele Köche, die verderben nicht den Brei, aber es bedarf immer der Abstimmung bei solchen Sachen. Ganz nett, jetzt steht hier ein Fahrrad, wo sich selbst das Standpersonal fragt, was das für eine Edition ist. Also sind wir mal gespannt, ob es ein Prototyp war oder ob es tatsächlich eine Edition ist. Ja, kommen wir dazu, was es Neues gibt bei Brompton. Oder gibt es überhaupt was Neues? Wir haben hier Farben, wenn ich darauf hinweisen darf. Von den Ausstattungen ändert sich tatsächlich erst einmal nichts. Wir haben ein Amethyst, was wohl erst im neuen Jahr kommen wird. Das Bumblebee, das wird einige freuen, weil es doch sehr erfolgreich war, kommt wieder und dann doch als Standardfarbe. Und wir haben Türkis wieder zurück. Manchmal muss man vielleicht auch nur seine Farben länger im Lager behalten, dann werden sie wieder aktuell bei Brompton. Aber ganz ehrlich, das Türkis hat sich auch immer einer großen Beliebtheit erfreut. Also von daher ist es auch schon ein schönes Rad. Was ich tatsächlich erwartet hatte, aber was nicht eingetroffen ist, ist zum Beispiel die C-Line, dass die vielleicht auch mal mit 12-Gang kommt. Also die 6-Gang irgendwie ersetzt wird, aber da hält Brompton sich noch bedeckt. Also können wir damit wohl erst einmal auch tatsächlich so nicht rechnen. Wobei, das ist Jammern auf hohem Niveau. Die 12-Gang-Schaltung funktioniert ja, die 6-Gang-Schaltung funktioniert ja auch hervorragend. Und die 12-Gang bekommt man ja an der P-Line oder C-Line Elektrik. Ansonsten gibt es noch das Rosa-Rad, wurde mir gerade zugerufen. Danke, Johann. Das wollen wir auch nicht. Flamingo Rosa, Flamingo Pink. Auch immer wieder ein beliebtes Farbspiel, was Brompton gerne reinbringt. Und so starten wir ins neue Modelljahr, so wie wir im alten geendet haben, möchte ich fast sagen. Bleibt einfach immer aktuell. Und an der Stelle kann man dann sagen, gut, wer jetzt ein Brompton C-Line haben wollte, kann zugreifen. Ist ja auch mal eine gute Mitteilung. Der soll es dann auch machen und haben. So, hallo, hier bin ich jetzt wieder bei Brompton am Stand und habe jetzt die große Ehre, Will Butler-Adams mit ihm ein Interview zu haben. Will, how long do we know each other now? This is the question, how long you are with Brompton? That's the main...
Well, we have known each other for 22 years. Yeah. And in fact, funnily enough, the first time we met was at the Cologne bike show with your father, probably 21 years ago, or 21 and a half years ago, I can't remember.
What did you expect where Brompton will go when you enter Brompton? So what was your thinking entering Brompton, your vision?
Okay, so when I entered, probably in the first 3 months, I thought, mad inventor, quirky product. You know, the engineering and the manufacturing was a bit ropey. The design was amazing, but the way it was being made was so old school. So I thought, you know, being young and engineer, I can make it better. I can help it be better. And I thought maybe I'll do a couple of years and then I'll go on and do something else. What changed was this bike changed my life. It meant I loved London. I was cutting through the city. I knew the city better than my friends. I was still fit. And then I met other customers. It changed their life.
And my life as well, and my father's life.
Yes.
So there's a long history with all these bikes.
Yes.
And what's going on with it.
Yes.
It's brilliant. A question I often heard is, how can it be that manufacturers still manufacture at the highest price point where you can live in London,
yes,
and manufacture to such a comparable price? Can you give me, this is
yes,
a process you did,
yes,
and it's a secret, I would say, which I don't know other brands who did and performed that well at this point.
So I think you need to start with where the Brompton came from, where it was born. It was born in London. That's why we have it, because Andrew needed one. It didn't exist, so he invented it. And initially, he built the bike, him and one other guy, Paddy, and they started making their bikes. And what happened was, this bike is difficult to make. Because it folds, the tolerances that are required are much, much tighter than on a normal bike. So it's very unforgiving. So Andrew had ideas of outsourcing it, but it was so difficult to make, he didn't trust anybody else to make it. So he carried on making it. He lived in London. He wanted to cycle to work. We had an opportunity 8 years ago to move the factory out of London. I very, very vehemently would not budge on us still being made in London. And there's a reason for that. The staff that make the bike use the bike. They live in London. They live and breathe this bike. And their friends have the bike. They see people riding the bike. If we went to North Wales, you don't need a Brompton in North Wales. And then you have staff who are making something they don't even understand. They don't have a connection to it. And similarly, over that time, we've evolved and refined and become incredibly lean. We make one bike, and we are the absolute master of one. We are a perfectionist. And what that's allowed us to do is to reduce the labor cost to less than 15% of the direct costs. The other 85% is material. That material costs the same in China, same in Bangladesh, the same in Mexico. It's a universal cost. So the labor cost is only 15%. And that 15% gives us quality, gives us care, gives us history, and allows all of the company to be seeing that bike in the factory every day.
And that's the reason why you invited people, visitors, dealers to see this manufacturing process.
Yes.
In order to understand that's the real life of your bike business. It's not putting parts together.
Oh, absolutely.
It's to build it really from the very beginning. And that's a key point for the success, because it's reliable.
It is. And it's not just, we're living in a world where planet Earth is hurting. It's hurting because of capitalism, because of consumerism. We're just buying just too much stuff that we don't need. We're being persuaded to buy stuff that in a year or two you think, well, why did I buy that? I've never even used it. I'm going to give it to the charity shop. But this is hurting our planet. So we need to rethink how we live, and we need to take more time to buy less stuff, to buy better quality things, to buy things that may be expensive but are really good value. I was in Frankfurt yesterday cycling. There was a guy on a Brompton that was made in 1988. He was using it.
Sold by my father. It must be like that.
It was the old hinges, both old hinges. There he was. He's riding this thing. I had to stop and speak to him. How many products have you bought that are still being used that long? That is sustainable. That is adding value. And we have spare parts for those bikes. We don't design in obsolescence, we design it out. And it's a different way of thinking, which we must all adopt if we're going to coexist on planet Earth.
Great. Yeah, I agree to it totally. The vision of Brompton. Where do you see Brompton in 5 years? What is your vision for it?
So our mission is to create urban freedom and make people happier. It's simple. We know you and I have been selling enough of our bikes that we know our customers. It sometimes takes some persuading, but when they take the leap, they never look back. And they're happy. Makes them smile. That's all we want to do, more. But to do that, we need to innovate. We need to find ways to talk to different people, different audiences. We need to position the bike in a way that someone says, yes, that's for me. I'm invited. if you don't innovate, and innovation isn't just in the product, it's in how you communicate. You need to try and find a way to tell people, hey, you know you're in your BMW or your Mercedes, but actually this is cooler. This is better. This makes you happier. But that is not easy. And it's both product innovation, but also how we communicate, our stores, our marketing, our storytelling. So there's a lot for us still to do.
The last point, the Maker series, which you did. And our last video, not on the exhibition, but at our shop, was about the Maker series.
Yes.
How did you connect to the makers in Britain, and how did they affect from Brexit, and what is the idea behind Maker series?
So, I mean, it's funny, you and I both wearing a very smart watch.
That's what we want to show. I do have 36, and of course the sheath.
But this is the bit that I get excited about.
Yeah, of course, that's
this
we
real
make it this make
in the
exactly.
back. But the funny thing is, when you're a manufacturer, you meet people, and they're manufacturers too. Now, they may not be making bikes, but you talk. The challenges, the innovation, the how to be smarter, leaner.
And you meet them.
Of course, you meet them at a festival. Yeah. You're talking manufacturing organizations. And I have known Nick, as it happens, I met him through friends when I was 26, and I flew myself in a little plane to an island in the Wash called Horsey Island when I was 26 for a party. And I met him, he flew in with his brother in their 2 planes for this party. We camped on the island, we had a massive party, and we became friends. And Will, who makes Cheney shoes, Will I met in Shanghai at a British sort of brand festival, probably about 17 years ago, and I visited his factory, he's visited Brompton, we've become great friends. I swapped a bike for a number of his shoes, and we make friends. So what we wanted to do in the Makers series was just celebrating care, design, quality, made to last. I mean, this watch, this will last longer than me. Absolutely. This will be going when I'm dead. That is an investment. That is quality care. And I think we just need to rethink how we consume and think about the planet, but think about this will give me much more pleasure than something that I buy that's cheap and that in 3 years is in the bin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
My absolute pleasure.
Absolutely to me. And it's a long time that we do business with Brompton, and there are seasons ahead of us.
There certainly are. We're still whippersnappers.
Thank you very much.
Many thanks.
Thank you. Wir gehen weiter hier auf dieser Messe und schauen uns noch andere Modelle oder Dinge an. Ich habe da noch etwas ganz Besonderes im Petto für euch. Also bleibt dran. Wir sehen uns nachher nochmal. Also bis dann.